Hi, everybody, and welcome to Good Vibes FC. I'm Sammy and Lynn, and I am coming to you from you-know-where, the Women's Game World headquarters in Vermont.
And I'm Lynn Williams, coming to you from New Jersey in a slightly less white box. As you can see, I now have a closet in here.
Yeah, you turned it from a jail cell to a closet.
Yes. Well, we needed a little sound barrier, a little
I love it.
echo takeawayer, and this is where the clothes now reside.
I love it. I think it looks chic. You look like a fashion designer who's doing a virtual styling call with me right now.
Thank you so much. I told Marley we need a hat right here on this little pointy thing so it doesn't look like I have an antler, but that didn't happen. So call me Antlerhead the rest of the episode.
Antlerhead. Okay, Lynn, what's going on? I heard that you have 2 pieces of exciting news to share with us this week.
2 pieces. I am back in training this week.
Yeah. Or as my mother would say, woo
woo. Have we told that story on this podcast ever?
No, but I obviously had to interrupt your injury report to mimic my mother doing something weird in a video one time.
One lucky day, one lucky episode, you'll have to tell that story. But I'm doing that. So the cafe is getting there. And then my mom and my nephew were here all last week. My nephew got a solo trip. My sister has 4 kids and they've all gotten to come out by themselves to say hi. And he was here and we went to a Broadway show. We saw The Wiz.
Oh my gosh, that is so fun. How was the show?
It was so good. I've never been to a Broadway show before, and it was amazing. The voices were incredible, and I really enjoyed it, and he enjoyed it, and he loved the Tin Man, and it was so cute.
Oh my gosh. Well, that is so amazing. I would love to come to go to a Broadway show next time I come visit you.
Wait. What show do you want to go to?
No idea.
Great.
The Wiz.
We'll figure it out. No, we're going to see a different one, obviously.
I've seen... When I was way younger, I saw Legally Blonde, and I've seen Phantom of the Opera.
I don't want to see either of those.
Well, I've already seen those, so maybe we could see something else. Maybe our friends who are listening to this could email us a suggestion because we don't know that much about Broadway.
Yes, I like that idea. Yes. You were onto something. Okay, tell me what you do this weekend.
Okay, Antlerhead. So we went to Boston for Father's Day, and on our way home, our friends were in Vermont for a wedding, so we crossed paths and we met up at a lake. And they were going to a wedding, so they had other friends there. And the friend group was like, let's go for a dip. So I go in and I'm thinking we're going for a dip, and we start swimming out a little bit, and they're like, let's go for a swim. And we start swimming, and we swim miles into the lake. These people were basically Olympic swimmers. So I got a great workout in, and then we swam so far that we basically couldn't go back, and we had to climb out on a stranger's dock and walk through their property and trespass and to escape the lake and to get back to our beach.
Well, that story took a turn, didn't it?
It took a wild turn, but honestly, it was very fun, very wholesome, very Vermont, and I had a great time, and I got a great workout.
I love that for you. Now, speaking of weddings, going back to that, I did ask you to RSVP to my wedding, and you said, yes, I'll do that. And you have still yet to do that. So go do that.
Oh, I was just joking. I thought that my RSVP was saying, yes, I will come on text.
No, I need you to go and click so I have you accounted for.
For both?
For all.
For 2 time?
Yeah, if you go on and you find your invitation, you click, I attend.
Okay, will you remind me again at the end of the episode?
Yes.
Okay, I guess we have to move on now. Otherwise, this will just devolve into Lynn and I planning logistics.
We love doing that.
Okay.
We love the logistics.
All right, everybody. Today on the podcast, we had a ton of ties in the NWSL this week, but we also had some classic old faithful NWSL drama, including a streaming mishap, a goal that wasn't a goal, and a huge win for the Utah Royals. Then we are going to get into Christen Press's return to the field and Sam Kerr's Chelsea announcement. Finally, we will preview the midweek and weekend games ahead. And we got an email from Brett S. to discuss what songs would make our present-day mixtape on a burned CD. I don't even know if kids know what that means, but I do.
Yes, you do.
I sure freaking do. I used to burn CDs left and right. We're going to get into that. But before we do, we are the self-anointed Texas Hold'em of women's soccer because this weekend was like being at the casino and we're upping the ante, Lynn.
Whoa. Do you do you have a casino story?
Yeah, do you?
Yeah. Huge gambler.
Do you have a casino story, actually?
Yeah. This past summer, me and Marley were at the casino and we were losing. We were losing bad. We were down to our last chip and we went to Russian roulette. And I was like, I am feeling the number 16. So I put one down, hit it, win. So naturally, now we're up. We put them like our winnings away. And now we are playing with 2 chips. We went to this other table because I was like, not feeling this table now. We have 2 chips. I say to Marley, I think number 23. And he goes, no, I don't really think so. I think we should go with 10. So unlike, we're idiots. We should have just put 1 chip one and 1 chip down on the other one. Nope, we put them on his.
You put them both on 10 and it landed on 23.
It landed on 23. So what did I learn from this?
That I go gambling with you and I listen to you.
Exactly. That is my gambling story.
My gambling story isn't really that good. Basically, one time, I don't even know what game we were playing. It was like, basically, I like won pretty much 50 cents or $1, like something so low. And then a bouncer came up to me. My flip-flop had broken. So I was like clomping around with a bare foot and a broken flip-flop. And like a security guard came up to me and was like, you can't be in here in bare feet. And I stormed out in a rage thinking that the house thought that like I was going to win too much money, that they had to kick me out. So I flopped back to my hotel room to get my shoe. And then when I came back, Pat was like, Sam, like nobody cared that you won like $1. Like the house wasn't like targeting you. You were just in bare feet in a casino.
How old were you?
What do you mean? 25, 27. Oh, it's not called Russian roulette. It's just roulette.
Yeah, is it Russian roulette where you like put a bullet in a gun and you like spin it out?
Okay, let's get into it.
Okay.
So, Kansas City and Chicago tied this past weekend 2-2. Mal Swanson put Chicago up 1-0 with an incredible finish from almost no angle at all. Lynn, did you see that finish?
Yeah, I was sick. I was like, I don't even know how that got in.
I know. It went like right underneath AD's arm and it went right into the net. Incredible finish from Mal. And Chicago was off to a really great start. At the end of the first half, Vanessa DiBernardo collided heads with Elizabeth Franklin. In kind of a scary moment, Vanessa ended up having to be subbed off. And Kansas City Current reporter PJ Green, who is my friend now after the Kansas City show, he tweeted that Vanessa has a history with concussions. Obviously, we're just hoping that Vanessa is okay, but as we talked about a little bit last week with Sinead Farrelly's retirement and her post-concussive syndrome, repeated concussions can definitely be really dangerous and scary, like heading into the rest of your life. We're sending Vanessa good vibes. We hope that she's okay. Obviously, she has been in such a great run of form this season for Kansas City, so hopefully this isn't serious and we see her back out on the field when she's ready.
Yeah, I just hope that she is okay. We don't want to like assume anything, but when it does come to your head, I think that you just need to take as much time as you need because your head is like the most important thing in your body. So I hope she's okay. It's like tough to see any injury, but especially a head injury.
I know. I completely agree. Okay, second half starts and there was kind of this feeling, right, that like Chicago could maybe hang on to this lead and hand Kansas City their first loss of the season at CPKC Stadium. But the answer turned out to be no. Bia Zanerato quickly got one back for Kansas City. There was a scramble in the box after a corner kick. And Bia incredibly scored with like almost her back to goal. She kind of like volleyed it and it went right in the far post. And then CPKC Stadium was back partying, bumping.
Shoot or shoot, baby.
Shoot or shoot.
Shoot or shoot.
I freaking love that. Bia Zanerato. In the celebratory Kansas City Current aftermath of the goal, Claire Hutton, who is an 18-year-old New York native who signed with the Current just last December and has already made 11 appearances this season, she pulled off this incredible moment of skill in the midfield. I'm kind of hoping we can just play this clip. Are you watching on YouTube? Because she did this wild spin move.
She's showing some of her ability to join in the attack. Usually,
Lynn, have you ever like actually pulled off a move like this in a game? Like one of those moves that you would practice over and over when you were growing up and then you like actually got to do it?
No. I think that, first of all, watching that was sick. I just think that the younger generation playing right now is nasty. Watching their skill set is unbelievable. I just think that shows and goes to like how many resources they have and how much access to the game they do. Because I don't even know if I was able to watch people do that. So you kind of had to like make up moves in your head. But no, my move is definitely the push and run. And I have done that a lot.
The classic Lynn Williams, push and run. I know. I used to, you know how like all the good moves were like named after famous players like Cruyff and Maradona. So I used to like experiment with moves and like call them the Mewis in my yard.
That's so cute. What was your go-to move?
I like
so
literally
cute.
don't remember, but it was probably something like complicated that wasn't already taken as a move. And like obviously I never actually did it in a game.
What do you think was your go-to move?
I don't know. I just want to call it like barging through. You know what I mean?
Barge. I think that your classic move would be like when you're about to shoot it at the top of the box, but you chop it to your other foot.
Ah, and then shoot it?
Like I've seen you do that a billion times. Yeah, when you're shooting.
And then do I shoot it and it goes in?
Yeah, of course.
Duh. Well, thank you. We can start calling that the Mewis now if we want.
Okay. If I ever do that, I'll say, wow, I just did the Mewis. The Sam Mewis.
Yeah, the Sam Mewis. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, so it's 1-1, Kansas City, Chicago. And then Temwa Chwinga, frickin' obviously, comes out, scores a goal. Surprise, surprise. It's 2-1 Kansas City. Party's back on. Kansas City's feeling good. But in the 90th minute, Sam Staub, center back, gets one back for Chicago on a header off a corner kick. Sam Staub's goal was like when you flip the river card and bang, somebody's about to beat you with 3 frickin' twos and you're shocked and surprised, but it goes in and the game ties 2-2. You know what I mean?
He's such an anticlimactic thing for a tie.
I know. Well, speaking of ties, there were almost all ties in the NWSL this weekend. But Lynn, if you're Chicago, you go away to Kansas City, you're playing like the league leaders. Are you happy getting a point away? Or are you like, dang, we should have held on to that lead at the beginning?
I think you're happy with a point away. I think anytime you can pick up points on the road, but also you're happy because Kansas City has been proven to go on and score 4 or 5 goals in a game.
True.
So keeping them to 2 and tie, I would be happy. Especially how the game is going, like you're losing and in the last minutes you are tied. So
yeah, true. It feels like a win when you kind of save the game at the end like that.
yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
What would you feel?
I think point away for Chicago right now is, especially against Kansas City, is good. And I think, like you said, it was looking like they were going to lose and they clawed it back at the end. So yeah, I think they probably were in good spirits.
I agree. I also think it gives you confidence going into other games, knowing that if you're down a goal, you still can have fight in you to come back. I think that sends a message to your team.
Yeah, and it's something that then you refer back to in other moments of adversity. Like, remember if you'd ever be down a goal and everybody just kind of goes, "We've been here before!" And that's like the rallying cry.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, well, so let's move on to Gotham versus Louisville. The old Bats headed over to Kentucky, and they came home with 3 points. One of only 2 teams to pick up those maximum 3 points on the weekend. The other team being, oddly enough, the Utah Royals, but we are going to get to that. So Yasmin Ryan and Ella Stevens both scored goals to help Gotham beat Louisville 2-0. Yaz's goal was sick. She was like falling down. She ends up like getting it, I think, far post into the corner. It's 1-0. Gotham is winning. But then, Lynn, we have to take a pause here. You have to tell us about the field, Katie Stengel removing a crater, then getting the whistle blown in her ear. What happened?
Yeah, I think it was a little bit of a weird game for Katie Stengel. Not on the field. I think she played a great game, but something happened and a huge chunk of grass was like normally it's like a divot, but this divot was like a crater. And she goes and like chucks, I kid you not, like this big, obviously this is an audio medium, so you can't see, but a massive size piece of grass off to the side. So she chucks that off. There's a huge divot in the field. But then in the second half, the divot was gone. So I was like, how did that get back?
Did they go and grab the sod that she threw and put it home?
They must have, but how did they stick it down? Because it was huge.
You just kind of stomp around on it a little bit.
I know. Usually that works if the hole is small, but this was it was a huge hole. Anyways, that was weird. I need to know the science behind that. The fact that the field was doing that in general kind of worries me. But then Katie commits a foul, I believe, and she's walking past the ref. The ref blows the whistle in her ear, and then she reacts to that and gets a yellow card.
So is it clear if the yellow card was for her foul or for her reaction to the ref?
I'm going to go ahead and say it was for her reaction towards the ref because the yellow card was not coming out until she reacted. So I need somebody to also tell me what the situation there was. Maybe I could ask Katie, but
You'll have to ask Katie and like report back to us.
I will, but I think she's probably confused as well.
Yeah, that was wild. But then to make it 2-0, Ella Stevens scores an absolute banger. Basically pocket aces. You get the deal. You're sitting there with your 2 aces and you're like, I'm going to freaking win this hand. She volleys it into the net. We thought it'd be cool, Lynn, to dive into this goal a little bit deeper. And how better to do that than to actually call Ella Stevens? So it's time for the very first inaugural Good Vibes, Good Time, FaceTime. And we're doing it right now.
You guys hear me okay?
Yeah, you sound great.
Okay.
Ella, I don't think we've ever like really met, but like, hi, I'm Sam.
Ella, Sam, Ella.
It's so nice to meet you. I actually trained with Courage twice. You wouldn't have remembered me, but you were really nice to me.
Oh,
So I appreciate
thank
that.
God. Well, sorry. Yeah,
Sam is like notoriously known for not remembering anybody.
No, I don't either. I didn't
think I have
expect-
brain
we even
damage.
think we introduced ourselves. I just passed it and you said good pass. And I like always remember that. But it's nice to meet you officially.
it's nice to see you again, Ella. We're off to a great start. Okay, so basically, we just want to hear about your goal.
Yeah, it was so sick.
Yeah. Well, shout out to Andy, first of all.
Yeah, Mandy Freeman crossed it to you?
Yeah.
Okay, can you just walk us through the whole thing? Like, you're running to the box, the play build up, like what went through your mind? What happened?
So I remember I rotated out, I think, with Rose, and I kind of just tried to pull backside, and I saw Mandy had the ball with a lot of space. And in training, I feel like we do this every day. She always puts balls in. Everyone on the wide areas always put balls in, like right on my feet. And it's like 50-50. So I'm really glad I was able to hit this one because I saw her and I knew she saw me. So I think we just both knew it was coming. And I tried to just compose myself and not get too excited.
That's like the best feeling when you like make eye contact. You're like, do it.
Yep.
Do it. What made you full volley it instead of taking a touch? Because that was a choice, a good choice.
Oh,
But a
You know,
choice.
that's that TikTok that's like, what did they say? What made you think you could do it? And they're like, delusion.
it was full delusion. No, I don't know. I think sometimes like the touch is, I end up like messing it up. Like sometimes I think too much, you know? So I just kind of like to try to go with not thinking. And also, I mean, earlier in the season, there was a ball that popped out the top of the box. I had no business trying to hit it first time. I did, and it was really bad. And I remember Juan Carlos called me in that week, and he brought it up, and I was just kind of ready to like hear it. And he was like, when I saw the ball in the air and I saw you were about to take it, he was like, I believed in you. He was like, I just want you to know that. And he was
Wow.
like, I know it didn't come off, but like, I believe in you. And I just feel like hearing that, and I mean, there's similar sentiments from like people on the team, just like little tidbits like that I feel like just kind of keep me very confident and like allow me to feel like I can take that shot. So,
Wow.
That's amazing.
I think that those moments too are like, first of all, taking a volley of that, like any moment, you're like, this could go two ways. Either it's going to be a banger or I'm going to miss epically. And I think that you don't score bangers unless you take the risk and you take the chance and the opportunity. But also just watching you in training and being able to like play with you, I think that you are somebody that doesn't get discouraged if you miss a goal. Like you're just like, I'm just going to get on with it and I'm going to try again. And I think that is testament to you, but like a true goal scorer. Like you're like, all right, I missed, but that doesn't defy me. I'm just going to try again. And then you end up with bangers. I think you've scored like 4 goals and 2 of them have been bangers. So that's like 50%.
oh,
Banger.
thank you. Stop,
Well,
Lynn.
Bang City.
Ella, Lynn, this is actually Ella's 5th goal of the season. Ella,
Oh, 5 goals.
was this the sickest one?
No, I really liked the San Diego one. Felt really, really good.
Whoa. Okay,
I don't know, just the way.
Okay,
I
well, what are
hit
you going to do next?
I'm gonna pass it to you.
Okay, I'll try to pass it back.
Well, I feel like there is so much more to come from you, Ella. We are so happy that you came on, and you are actually our first ever. This is what we're calling the segment, the Good Vibes, Good Time FaceTime.
Woo! Thank you for having me. I'm honored.
Yeah, anytime. Thank you so much for coming on. I love Good Vibes, Good Time FaceTime calls. Maybe when other people do sick stuff, Lynn, we'll just call them and have them on the show too.
I love that idea. Do something cool, guys, so that you can be on the show.
Yes. Okay, so it was 3 points for Gotham, who are sitting fourth in the table, but you guys have 2 games this week, Lynn, so you have a chance to really jump up in the standings. There's 6 points up for grabs for you this week. Part of Gotham's run of form has been the amazing, the incredible, the wonderful, the beautiful Gotham defense. And that brings us to the Olipop gut check of the week, brought to you by those legends over there at Olipop. I'm going to...
Splash zone.
Splash zone.
Cheers.
Dink. Well, how do you cheers, Lynn, when you're cheersing at a dinner? What do you say?
Cheers.
Yeah. I've just noticed every time we do this, I say dink, but it's not like I would ever say that in any other setting.
Huzzah.
Okay, Olipop gut check of the week. What's a more impressive statistic? Kansas City's 33 goals in 13 games, which is 2.5 goals per game average, or Gotham's 8 goals against in 13 games, which is only 0.6 goals against per game average. So which is more impressive, scoring that many goals or only letting up that few goals?
Sam, what do you think?
Well,
don't say the wrong answer.
I know that you are probably going to say Gotham. This was kind of a foregone conclusion. But talk to us a little bit about Gotham's defense. How much do you guys talk about it? How impressive, how proud of this statistic are you guys?
Very proud. I think that our team takes great pride in our defense getting clean sheets. I think that our defense is what allows us to shine offensively. I think that obviously we want to be scoring more goals and winning that way, but you can't lose if you don't let goals in. So that's where our baseline is. That's where we start, and then we move forward from that. So we talk about defense every single day, every single week, and making sure that that is sharp.
I think it's really, really impressive that you guys are doing that well defensively, especially considering that you had a change in goalkeeper about a quarter of the way through the season. Cassie Miller was starting for you guys in goal, and then Ann Ketchrenberger came over from Chelsea. And you've just kind of kept up this really great defensive rhythm and have kept a really low goals against average. So very impressive. I do have to shout out Kansas City really quick. 33 goals so far this season. Very impressive. They're definitely one of, if not the most dangerous attacking team. They have a lot of incredible attacking players. And I think 33 goals in 13 games is a statistic also to be proud of. But I think for this one, I'm going to agree with you, Lynn. I'm going to go Gotham's 8 goals against in 13 games wins this Olipop gut check of the week. Congratulations.
Go Gotham again.
You get an Olipop. Okay, that's our Olipop gut check of the week. I love you so much, Olipop. Thank you.
Thank you. Send more. Thank you.
So the Utah Royals played Bay FC on Sunday night in the 2024 expansion derby, and both teams were really looking for the win. I actually feel like it was 12th place against 14th place, both expansion teams, and it was such a valuable opportunity to get points out of this game. 3 points to a team that only has 4 points is a huge amount of points. Utah have been struggling this season, 1 win, 1 draw, and then Bay have had some inconsistent results. They've had some good moments, but again, they're still only in 12th place. So I just feel like both teams were really looking to get maximum points out of this game. Do you think that a kind of one of these battles at the bottom, do those games hit different? Do you go into these games thinking this is our chance to get these points, as opposed to when you're playing a team that's at the top of the table?
Yes, definitely. I think that for teams that are sitting on 14th place and 12th place, it might feel so far away from first place, but it's not that far from 8th. 8 teams make the playoffs. And if you can get one game, get a win and get some momentum going, I think that that is what's most important. And so going into a game knowing you're playing a team that's at the bottom, you're okay, this is our chance to start that momentum, get hopefully into that playoff bracket, 8th place or around there.
Yeah. Yeah, literally no shade to the old Boston Breakers, but in 2016, we like literally made playoffs because we got to play Boston 4 times and we got 12 points out of it. And it's like
Yeah.
it is like a big opportunity for teams like this. This was actually interesting too, Lynn. I heard Amy Rodriguez, the Utah head coach, on Meg Linehan's podcast Full Time last week saying that she was talking to some like expert on team building, and they said that a team isn't really a team yet until they've had about 70 training sessions. And Amy Rodriguez said that Utah had just had their 80th training. And I found it so interesting that just kind of as they're crossing this threshold into really solidifying what their team is all about and having enough trainings to kind of all be on the same page, they get this big win. What do you think about that idea? Like, do you have any concept of like about what 70 trainings would feel like?
When you say that, it immediately reminds me and takes me to that book, The 10,000 Hours. Have you read that book or seen that book?
Yeah.
Yeah. The book basically says like, you're not a professional at anything until you've practiced 10,000 hours. And I have no concept of what 70 trainings is. That seems like a lot, but also seems like none at the same time. But I'm going to assume that it's around that same minute mark, maybe maybe not. Is that dumb?
I don't think it would be 10,000 hours, but I think it would probably be like about 3 months of training as a team.
I said minutes, not hours.
So are you saying that it's 10,000 minutes?
Well, I'm just saying like when you're building everybody is a professional, you know what? Let's not get into this debate here, but
maybe it is. Maybe it is. What's 70 times 2 hours? It's only 140 hours, so it's not.
What is math? Anyways, I think that the idea of you have to hit a certain threshold to be solidified or to be good enough at something is the idea here. And to assume that any expansion team or any new team is going to gel together and be like amazing game one, even year one, I think is a lofty goal and like a very high expectation. I'm not saying it can't be done, but that's very high. So like, it doesn't surprise me that they are struggling or they're having a hard go at it, but that doesn't mean that they're not building a foundation for the future. And I think that that's where people could mislook and be like, what's wrong with Utah? And I'm like, who knows?
Just give them a minute. They just met.
Yeah, this rough year, next year, they could be incredible. Or in 2 years, they could be incredible if this team stays together and they like have built that. But yeah, they just met. Like, give them a second.
They just met. Okay. Well, so this game is definitely going to be a core memory for this team. This game was a draw for a very long time. It was like literally all draws, just a bunch of people sitting out there with 2 pair, waiting for something to happen in the poker game. But then Kate Delfava scores a late game winner in the 88th minute for Utah and immediately runs over to the bench to celebrate. This was like a huge moment for this club and this team and something I think that they can really build on. The goal was like, you're down to your last chips. You're like Lynn at the casino. You have 1 chip left. You have to just go, well, we're playing poker, so it's a little different, but you have to go all in. You flip your cards over. You're ready to walk away. You have nothing. And then out of nowhere, you win the hand. You're back in the game. You did something right. I don't know. You have a high card. You score a goal at the end. You win. I think Utah can grow from here. 80 trainings in. Maybe it's a good time for the Royals to rise.
Rise, Royal rise.
Around the rest of the NWSL, lots of ties. Everybody else tied. But there were a few magical moments to point out. The Washington Spirit's Croix Bethune saved a point for DC with a 96-minute goal against San Diego. It was an incredible touch and half volley finish with an even more incredible Selly. It's actually what inspired us to be talking about poker today. But she like blew in her hand and then she like pretended to roll the dice and then it like came up as a lucky 7. So it's like not poker, but it's gambling. You know what I mean, Lynn?
Yeah, same, but different.
Same, but different. Exactly. Jaden Shaw had finished a chance for San Diego in the 20th minute. So this game ended 1-1. But Lynn, tell us about this Croix Bethune goal and how hard is this to do?
Oh my gosh, the goal was incredible. I feel for San Diego because it was the last minutes of the game, the last almost like seconds of the game, I think. But to be able to volley the ball down or chest the ball down while it's coming from like a side angle and then in your next stride, volley it, keep it down, keep it low as you're running full speed is an incredibly hard technique. You have to be calm in a very intense moment and also to beat the keeper nearsighted. So, or near post. It's kind of the goal of goals.
Goal of goals, Croix Bethune.
Yeah, she's having a great year.
She is having such a great year. She's getting Rookie of the Year, even MVP shouts. She's off to an incredible start. The Courage remain undefeated at home with a scoreless tie against undefeated Orlando. They were able to keep Barbara Bandit in check, which really didn't look easy, but the Courage kept that Wake Med Soccer Park on lockdown.
On lock.
On lock. And then Houston tied Angel City, another scoreless draw, thanks to a PK save by Jane Campbell. There was another really close call and lots of speculation on this other play that the ball actually went over the goal line and should have been a goal for Angel City, but it clearly wasn't called and the game ended 0-0. This was like when you bluff with a terrible hand and you get away with it and the ball maybe goes in, but it doesn't get called. But there's no goal line technology in the NWSL. Angel City's Jasmine Spencer said, I think it's a good example of why we need continued investment in the league so we can look forward to things like goal line technology to have better decisions on those instances. Obviously, Lynn, we agree. Do you have any strong thoughts about goal line technology?
Yeah, I think that if we're going to get all the technology, if we're going to have VAR, if we're going to have all the things, we might as well have goal line technology. Either have it all or don't have it at all. I think that is my take.
Yeah, I think hopefully it's coming soon. Houston's probably like, whatever, man, but Angel City's probably a little bit pissed.
Exactly. It just depends on what side you're on.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think from a totally non-biased, I have no favorites in this league, as everybody knows. I think I would like goal line technology. I think that would be great.
I think it would be great as well. This is probably going to bite me at one point, but I would just say kick it in there harder. Make sure you really know it's in there.
Yeah. I like that. You just give it the big old boot, pull a Lynn Williams. You know what I mean?
Yeah, just boot it in there.
Anyway, girls,
That's my take.
Lastly, speaking of technology, we need to touch on Sunday afternoon in the CBS broadcast situation. So Seattle and Portland all set up Seattle Cascadia rivalry game, but the LPGA golf tournament was running long, and this game was all set, airing on CBS is a big game, but golf ran long, so we actually missed a bunch of this big Seattle-Portland game, which was frustrating. I know that CBS Sports or something was trying to have a stream up, but I think there were technical difficulties. I personally missed almost the whole first half. I was trying to also celebrate Father's Day, have the game up on my phone. And I know that the whole match is now available on Paramount Plus, retroactively. But I do think it was a bummer. It was unfortunate. I think 4 p.m. on a Sunday is appointment viewing. I mean, it's one of the bigger games. It's a rivalry game. I know Seattle is not having a great year, but I think the mishap around the game getting pushed and the game getting covered over by golf and then the live stream option not working for a while kind of leaves a little bit of a dark cloud over it. Mm-hmm. Super unfortunate. I don't know really whose fault it is. Obviously, this wasn't the plan. How did you feel about it, Lynn?
Yeah, I think it's unfortunate just because we've never seen an event run over time. They usually direct it to a different channel, and then once that said event is done, you come back. I think that is the missed opportunity, and it is just disheartening to know that didn't happen. That whole situation didn't happen. I know there's technical difficulties that do go on, but it seems like there are more in women's sports than ever before, and that's just the frustrating part.
I mean, you're right. Live sports on TV run into other time slots. That's part of the deal. We know it wasn't on purpose, but it was a huge game. The first one, I was saying, at least it was another women's sport. At least it was women's golf. I think that it would have been hard to handle if it was not women's sports or not a sport that we were got it, we get it, this makes sense. But then, Lynn, this was late at night, but the Bay-Utah game also, the start time got pushed back 12 minutes because CFL football was on CBS. I just saw a lot of questions and responses on Twitter about why the NWSL is partnered with a broadcaster who isn't prioritizing our games.
Agreed. Which
is tough. I mean, first things first, we are asking people to have a lot of subscription services. Games are across CBS and Paramount Plus and ION and ESPN and NWSL Plus. And it is a lot of places to look to figure out how to watch games. The idea that we can watch every game somehow is good. I think that there are leagues, men's sports leagues where you just simply don't have access to every game based on what market you're in. There's like blackouts, and then you can kind of get into like a league game pass kind of situation where you're paying more. But I think in the terms of like where the NWSL is at, where a growing and maturing league, there are hiccups. I just think it was super unfortunate that it was this game and that the backup plan didn't work.
Yeah, I think that would be the takeaway for me. Because you're right, in men's sports and other leagues, there are blackouts. But also I'm trying to think of like the EPL, for example. They play on Peacock sometimes, and then they play on a different, like you have to have different streaming services if you want to watch all the games. That's, I think, just part of sports and like kind of where sports is going, soccer in general. It is frustrating. I think we have more platforms, so trying to even find the games can be confusing unless you are a diehard fan, or like the women's game puts it out in a nice pamphlet for you.
We sure do. It's our weekly game day graphic, everybody, usually up on Fridays. So check out our social media.
Yeah. And I love that. It's like one of my favorite things because I know exactly where to go and how to watch the games. I just think I'm upset with that a backup didn't happen, or that start times are getting pushed because.
Well, yeah, that affects the players a lot.
That affects the players. And I just don't see that happening in men's sports. I think the service, sure, like that it's on different streams, that happens. But the pushing of the start time, or the fact that it's just not being aired at all, I just don't think you would ever see that. They would figure out a backup.
Yeah, again, I think we understand mistakes happen. The backup plan not working in this instance was really, really tough. But I think we've covered this enough. Lynn, huge news last week. Christen Press is back in training, and this is not a drill. How incredible.
I know. I think that her journey has probably been very, very tough, but to see how positive she's been and how she's just keeps saying, like, I'm just going to try, like, be patient with me and I'm just going to try. I think it's very inspiring to see that maybe things aren't going to, I think it's a lesson for life. Like maybe things aren't going to go exactly how you thought that they were going to go, but you just have to keep trying and eventually you will get somewhere and do something that you can be proud of. And to see her out there, and did you see the videos where she was like smiling and stuff? It just looked like she was so happy. So I'm excited for her.
I know. I'm excited for her too. So a little context. Christen Press tore her ACL in June of 2022. So almost like pretty much exactly 2 years ago to the date she started training again. After her initial ACL surgery, she like started trying to come back, and she needed multiple surgeries after that to fix some lingering issues. And Press has been really open and vulnerable and honest with the whole women's soccer community about her journey back to the field. So like Lynn said, we were really happy to see her back out there with her teammates. We saw the first photos and videos from her training back with Angel City, and she just, like Lynn said, she looked so happy to be out there. Oh, that was cute. I saw, Lynn, this was actually cool. She tweeted something like day 730 equals day one. And it was kind of this like transition from, yes, I've been going through this really hard thing for this really long time, and this is the end of one journey, but like the beginning of another.
I know. I love that. This is like a little bit of a side story, but my mom always says like you can start your day over at any moment. Like if you're having a bad day, you can just say, nope, that's that part of the day, and now I'm going to start over. And I feel like that leads into this. Like she's been going through this for 730 days, but now it sounds so long.
Yeah.
But I'm sure the amount of times she has had to say to herself, this is now my day one again. Like this is now my day one again. One, I think was probably very challenging because to say your day one again and still be going through the same thing get challenging. And I think that's just a testament to her and the fact that she was able to stay positive. But also, it's like exciting. Like, okay, you've been doing this thing for a long time, but now is like the moment, your next step, your next journey. And you can look back and be like, wow, that was really long, but it was all worth it because now I get to play soccer again.
Yeah.
And I think that is a choice, though, to continue to stay on that journey and say, you know what? Now is my day one.
Yeah, I know. I was going to ask you, when you're out for so long and you finally have like a milestone, whether that's running for the first time or training with the team for the first time or playing in a game for the first time, one thing I wanted to touch on is what's hard about that. And like, I know how like physically hard it can be to be reintroduced to like a new environment that you haven't been in yet. It can just be like so exhausting. But I also want to know what the best part is. Like how do you celebrate milestones like that and moments like that where you get to do a new thing?
Yeah, I think that like, the hardest parts about being injured are not being with the team, like you're isolated. Of course, there's all of like the physical hardness that you're going through, but I think it's more of the mental piece that people don't talk about that is like really draining and exhausting. And then when you are like back in it, you're like, now I am physically exhausted and I'm mentally exhausted. But the best parts about that are that you're finally like, oh my gosh, I didn't know if I was ever going to get to this point. Like when you're going through your journey, there are so many moments. Like I remember when I was going through my hamstring repair in Kansas City and just watching those games and watching people go into tackles, I was like, that looks so scary. And I don't know if I could ever do that again. And then you get to the point where you're just like, oh yeah, like I know how to do that. Yeah. I'm going to do that all the time. And so when you hit a new milestone or you hit a new moment, it's like all of the hard work and all of the worry and all of the crazy sadness kind of just, it feels worth it. And it's like a reminder of like to not take it for granted. And it's, I think humans are silly because you remember that and then you'll go 4 months and you'll be like, oh, I forgot that moment. And then something will happen and you like have to go back and you're like, I wish. So I think that's like a crazy cycle in itself. But I think just remembering and just really enjoying like the simple things and just like we've talked about of, oh my gosh, I get to run. I took that for granted. Or I get to be out with the team. I took that for granted. I think those are like the best and most fun parts.
I think it's really, really cool to see Christen back training with the team. Yeah. I think even she said in some media that I saw her do, like, it's not like she's playing this weekend. Like she still has rehab to do. She still has to like working towards playing in a game. So I feel like giving her some like patience. There's no rush for her to be back at 100% overnight. It has been 2 years and she should just keep doing what's best for her body. But I know that everybody was so happy to see her out there training and to see kind of all of those trials and tribulations that she went through really have a moment to acknowledge that she's reached this new milestone. Okay, Lynn, so across the pond, Sam Kerr announced that she has re-signed with Chelsea until 2026 in a trick video. That's silly Sammy. Basically, Sam and Chelsea like posted a series of videos where the whole first video was Sam like seeming to explain all of these things that she was going to miss about Chelsea. But then quickly, Chelsea posted another video where they were like, basically, just kidding, LOL. What did you make of the trick video?
She tricked us. No, I feel like we knew. We had to know. Do you know the one that she was saying, like, I'm looking for a girl who's 5'8"?
Oh, yeah.
That a missed opportunity to either have a Chelsea member or Christy do that and then have Sam pop up as Chelsea. Obviously, that would have been like an issue because Christy doesn't play for Chelsea, but just saying, missed opportunity.
I feel like she would have done it. Wait, did you see Christy and Sam's TikTok of Christy singing that song, but then Sam came in?
No. I need to go look.
It's very funny. I think it's on Christy's TikTok and maybe on her Instagram too.
See, missed opportunity.
But you know what? I was like, yeah, I think Sam is staying at Chelsea. Like the day before, all these media people were like, keep your eyes peeled. There's big news about Sam Kerr dropping tomorrow. And I was kind of like, I'm pretty sure that it's just that she's staying at Chelsea. But then when I saw the first video, I was kind of like, did I miss something like huge in my family? Like Sam was such a good actor.
You got by it?
I got a little bit got because she almost sounded like she was going to cry.
Samantha got by her own family member. Same name, Sammy.
I know. It was like pretty wild, but obviously I'm so excited for Sam and obviously Chelsea are pumped to have her through 2026. Sam right now is about 5 months through her ACL rehab, which when you tear your ACL, you're usually expected to be out for like 9 to 12 months. So we're wishing Sam well. Hopefully I can get back out to England for the women's game and watch her play when she gets back and or have her as a guest on Friendlies or both. Also maybe have Christy on Friendlies. You know, I'm trying to just get all my friends and family on the show all the time.
Why have a podcast if you can't just get your friends and family on here?
Exactly. They're like, can you give us a minute, Sam? It's Christmas. We can't be talking about this right now. Okay, looking ahead, we do have some midweek games this week on Wednesday. Like we talked about, Gotham is playing San Diego at 7 p.m. Eastern in a makeup from that week 1 Challenge Cup game that has left both teams with a game in hand so far this season. And Angel City are playing Louisville at 10 p.m. Eastern. Then over the weekend, we have our usual slate of games. There is a California clash between Bay FC and Angel City on Saturday night at 10 p.m. Eastern. On Sunday, we have some real gambles, some real good hands of poker, if you ask me.
Tell us what a good hand of poker is.
You know, you want to get, you know what you want to get. High cards, face cards.
All the right cards is what you want to get.
All the right cards. And then you really just got to not react, flop, something else, river. You want
face card?
Yeah, you sure do, ideally. Anyways, back to these real gambles of games. Gotham are playing the Spirit. That's an exciting one. Portland are playing Kansas City. That's another exciting one. Portland are looking like maybe one of those teams that could possibly challenge Kansas City. North Carolina are playing Chicago, and then Seattle is playing Louisville. Gotham has this chance to jump up 6 points, Lynn. What are you thinking?
I think 6 points sounds nice. So let's just do that. That's what I have to say about that.
That's what I have to say about that. Portland to have Sophia Smith back on the roster after her little red card suspension. Soph also got engaged. So yay, congrats.
Yay, girl. So happy for her.
Get that ring.
I know. I feel like she's been wanting that for a long time. So.
They're so in love.
I know. So cute. The pictures were amazing.
I know. They almost were like wedding pictures. I was like, these are so perfect.
I know. I need to hear the story because obviously she was surprised, but then I'm like, how did he manage to get her to dress like that in a surprise? That's what I need to know.
I don't know. We need to GoodTime FaceTime her because I have literally never looked so perfect one single second in my life as she looked in those pictures.
Yes, you have.
Maybe at birth, and I was just a glorious newborn baby, so I was perfect in my natural babiness. But not as a grown woman have I ever looked so flawless.
That was so weird of you to say. I need to move on. That was so weird.
All right, well, after all these ties, we are expecting some fireworks here. We are a few weeks ahead of July 4th, everybody. It's also weird. Let's go to the inbox. We have an email from Brett S. that asks, "Hi, Sam, Lynn, and Becky. I was just thinking about how most of my favorite music was from when I was a teenager, and I was just wondering, what would be on your mixtape? So if you were burning a CD for a friend, what songs would you include? I love the show. I can't wait for new episodes. Go Thorns, Brett S."
Boo Thorns.
I know.
Becky's not here.
We get a lot of emails from Thorns fans, though, Lynn, so I have to say thank you, Thorns fans. We appreciate you.
Yeah, they can support women's soccer, but just on the Thorns. Support Gotham. No, just kidding.
Lynn, tell us what burning a CD means to you.
Yeah, what it means to me. It means that you take a blank CD that you have gotten from
a stack of blank CDs.
Yeah, the store. I was going to say you get from Amazon, but obviously not. You would have to go get them at the store and you put it in your computer and then you go to LimeWire and you put all of those songs illegally onto this blank CD.
And then you bring it out to your car and you have all your favorite songs on a CD. And it's basically a playlist. Now you would just make a playlist with all your favorite songs. But
yeah, or your CD thing, a Walkman, right? Is that what it's called?
Walkman.
When I was younger, we had a guy come out to our house to fix our computer because it had a huge virus on it. Because I was obviously burning CDs and doing craziness. I don't even know. I was just clicking all the buttons that would come up and I would be like, click, 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 go away. And this guy said, that is I've been doing this for 20 years and that is the biggest virus on a computer I've ever seen. So sorry, Mom and Dad, for getting a massive computer virus.
I don't really understand computer viruses. Is it like a hacker?
I think so. I don't really know either. It's honestly a miracle that none of my stuff has gotten hacked, knock on wood now. Because back in the day, something would pop up, and I would just click the X, and I was like, yeah, I'll deal with that later. And it would be 100, and I'd be fast clicking, bye, 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 bye. And he was like, that's a virus. You need to get that fixed.
That's not a throw it under the bed and forget about it thing. That's a problem.
Yeah. Okay, back to the question.
Yeah, what songs have you been bumping to lately?
Ooh, I honestly haven't been bumping to songs lately. It's been either listening to wedding songs or listening to podcasts. So
Oh my gosh, let's talk wedding song CD.
Wedding song CD.
I could pull up my I have a wedding playlist for a wedding that I didn't have, which is
Okay,
fine.
yeah.
But I could pull that up.
Hit me with something.
All right, wedding.
I can tell you the songs I've been listening to.
Do it.
I have been listening to an old song, Ruin by Usher.
Okay.
It's basically about how like he had a daughter and then like she like ruined his idea of love, like in a good way, obviously.
Wow.
Thames, anything Thames I would put on there. So that would be kind of on my burned. I don't know. Marley makes the playlist for me and then I just listen to them.
All right, I'm going to rattle off some songs I think we should add to your wedding playlist.
Okay.
Sexy and I Know It by LMFAO. Sugar We're Going Down by Fall Out Boy. Hot in Here by Nelly. TikTok by Kesha. I Love It by Iconopop. Stacy's Mom by Fountains of Wayne. Teenage Dirtbag by Wheatus.
Were these on your wedding playlist that you didn't play?
Yeah, well, yeah. Yep.
Okay.
I would have just had a jumping up and down yelling wedding, and that would have been incredible.
I think we are at two different parts of the wedding. I have been looking at songs to play during like dinner.
Like the love part.
Yeah, and like it's in the background. And then you are
Okay, don't worry about the later time. I already have a playlist for us.
great. Send that to Marley. You just push the DJ out of the way and say, don't worry about it. I got it.
Don't worry.
Plug in your phone.
Yes, don't worry. Okay, well, thank you so much, Brett S. That was really fun. It turned from burning a CD for a friend into songs that must be played at a wedding, but that's okay. This is a fun podcast. That's what happens. If anybody else has questions for us that you want us to totally go off topic, you can send us an email at womensgamemib@menandblazers.com. All right, Lynn, we have to let these poor people go. Their ears are probably bleeding in their little headphones. This is the end of the episode, so let's leave them with a good vibe. We're going to play that game we used to play all the time where we try to say the same word at the same time.
Okay.
Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. Computer.
Lilies.
Okay,
you say
we
computer?
said computer and lilies. 1, 2, 3. Digital.
Wallpaper.
Digital wallpaper.
Okay.
1, 2, 3. Phone
Screensaver.
background. That's it. We win. That's the same thing. That we did it. We basically got it, you guys. Okay, that's everybody's good vibe. We love you so much. We hope that you're subscribed to this podcast. If not, you should make sure and you should subscribe right now, you little strawberry scone. This is available wherever you listen to podcasts, and we're on YouTube, and we're on Instagram and Twitter and TikTok at Women's Game MIB. This week, coming up, we have a Friendlies interview with Jaden Shaw, and we talk about how she actually only played futsal until she was 12 years old, and then she started playing soccer. We're going to talk a little bit about her ACL injury and then her journey going pro as a teenager, her rise on the U.S. Women's National Team. I just basically gave it all away. I know that Lynn is copying my hand movements. If you are listening to this, you can watch her mimic me on YouTube. All right, everybody, that's all. Goodbye.
I'm Lynn.
And I'm Sam. And this is Good Vibes FC, the podcast that's like a three of a kind. Me, Becky, and Lynn. You get it? Because we're cute.
We're cute.
And we're a good hand. Okay, love you. Bye.